Rhun Iorwerth, you'll face elections in just about 6 months. Is that the real race between you and Nigel Farage?
Well, it's not between me and Nigel Farage to be the First Minister of Wales because Reform haven't even got a leader in Wales or candidates in Wales. But it certainly is looking now as if it's a two-horse race to be the largest party in the Senedd next year. It's remarkable seeing in a short period of time the drop-off in support for Labour, a party that's been winning elections in Wales for over 100 years. And that disillusionment now is so clear, and of course the positive attitude that people are developing more and more each day towards Plaid Cymru.
But the thing is that historically Plaid has been the repository for the anti-Labour vote in Wales, but Reform's stealing your anti-establishment clothes, isn't it?
Well, I was at another event at the end of conference last night, which showed again that Labour is not losing votes to Reform in Wales, or if they are, it's in very small numbers. Labour is losing votes in Wales in very significant numbers to Plaid Cymru, with studies showing that maybe a third or even more of people who voted Labour last year saying, you know what, for that Senedd election next year, it's going to be Plaid Cymru. And it's for a host of different reasons. That deep disillusionment, which is felt among the ranks of Labour supporters throughout the UK in the actions of Keir Starmer since coming into government. On top of that, his attitudes towards Wales and his indifference, I think, being kind towards Wales. Then on top of that is the attitude of Labour in government in Wales, who have been totally unwilling to stand up to him and make the case for Wales, for fair funding, for investment in infrastructure and so on.
When you say Starmer's attitude towards Wales, what are you talking about?
Well, I don't think we have seen anything in the actions of Keir Starmer that makes anyone suggest that he has any interest in pushing Wales forward, in supporting Wales's specific and particular needs.
What would you have expected him to do? What would be a symbol of Keir Starmer being interested in Wales?
Port Talbot would be perhaps the most glaring example, where we lost a virgin steel-making capacity at the Port Talbot Steelworks. Real anger about that. A process started by the Conservatives, of course, finished off by Labour. At the same time, they were letting Port Talbot go. They decided that Scunthorpe was deserving of government help to step in to save primary steel making. Now, they missed that opportunity. They will not be forgiven in Wales for doing that.
So it's money, but are you sure you want to be attacking Wales now? Because presumably one possibility in next May's elections is that you come out with a situation where you've got to have a Plaid Labour alliance or coalition.
A number of things. There has never been a majority in the history of devolution in Wales. There has always had to be an element of cooperation in order to give government stability. But Labour has always had at or around half the members of the Senedd. And crucially, they have held that First Minister role. That is key. It is setting the tone for Welsh Government. It is setting the tone for negotiations with UK Government. Plaid Cymru has never been in that role. So that radical change to a government with new energy, focused on Wales always, is that major shift that we've never seen. And
do you expect that you could be the First Minister next May?
Every evidence shows that I could be First Minister after next May. That's entirely in the hands of the people of Wales. I'm trying to build that trust with them. But we have that opportunity of something that we've never had before.
The reason I'm asking that is that at your conference this week, you sort of dialed down the emphasis on independence for Wales. Without that policy, what exactly is the difference between you and Labour? You as First Minister, or Eleanor Morgan, seem to have the same policies except independence.
Oh, I don't think so at all. And if you look at the raft of policy announcements that we've
one
made,
policy that's a big difference between you and Labour.
The universal childcare offer that we announced yesterday, something that Labour has refused to do. The direct child payments that Plaid Cymru has said that we will introduce as a pilot in government. Labour hasn't even had targets for dealing with child poverty in Wales. This is a radical shift from a Plaid Cymru government, hopefully from next May next year, that is willing to do the hard yards to do what's right for Wales. When Labour in government in Wales for 26 years now has become tired, it has become jaded, it has forgotten how to look for
Labour would say is a Plaid Cymru government that wants to spend money it hasn't got.
Well, that's not true, for starters, because the hard work in preparing for government is deciding what will we prioritise, what can we afford. So absolutely
a universal
everything that
childcare offer up to the age of 4 How are you going to fund that?
Well, first of all, we know of the unallocated funds that are available from next year. Everything that we have been doing in preparing for government is about telling people we know exactly what needs to be done with the financial envelope that we have, making priorities. There are things that I'd like to do that we won't be able to because we have decided to make those priorities, and helping families with the cost of living crisis.
But it's not in the current plan. So you're going to have to get rid of something. Either you're going to have to cut somewhere else, or, for example, you're going to have to say we can provide everybody with universal childcare, but we're going to change the staff to child ratio. What are you going to do?
As it happens currently, we know that there's a ceiling of around £400 million available that is unallocated for next year. So actually, on that particular spend, there isn't a cut. But across the board, yes, of course, you make decisions to reprioritise. Welsh Government will tell you that they have been spending billions of pounds on child poverty measures. We are seeing no outcome from that. Child poverty levels are still going up in Wales. We will reprioritise, we will make decisions, including the direct child payment, that will make a difference based on the Scottish model. And in Scotland, they are looking at being the only part of the UK where they're going to see child poverty going down in future years. That's the kind of radical change we want in Wales. Labour have not been delivering it.
Well, here's the sort of decision you might have to make. Conservative Party says it would abolish stamp duty. Who knows that the Chancellor may follow that in her budget. If something like that were to happen, would you have to do that in Wales? Because presumably Welsh residences, homes, would become, relatively speaking, more expensive.
This is a devolved tax, and we should always be looking at making sure that the tax that we have in Wales, which is called something different, the land transaction tax, works in the interest of the people of Wales. Now, I've listened carefully to what the Conservatives have said. What strikes me is that, A, again, it's very expensive, but two, is this really helping the people that we want to target government support towards? And you'll know, of course, that there is already relief for people who are buying their first homes or people who are buying homes
make it easier for people to buy homes.
Level. So I, to put it kindly, don't believe that they are motivated by the right things. We want to target help at those who need it most, and I don't think that's what the Conservatives are doing.
So no stamp duty cut in Wales?
Well, we always look at where we set the levels of stamp duty, called something else in Wales, but I don't think the Conservatives are doing this for the right reason.
Rhun Iorwerth, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you.